so good. Oh my god, that's good. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are making meatballs for a meatball sub. One of my favorite things in the world to eat is a meatball sub. Love it. And it's actually not that hard to make, and if you make a big batch you could always freeze them, save them for later. That's what I like to do. You could put a meatball on a pizza, you could put meatballs in pasta. I just like a good meatball. So let's just jump right in and get started. So what we are going to need is a pound of ground pork, pound of ground beef. I have dried basil, garlic, fresh basil, breadcrumbs, sub rolls of your choice. I'm using Italian rolls. This is homemade marinara sauce. I will put a little link up in the top corner here for that recipe. An egg, dried oregano, red pepper flakes, onion, salt, pepper, provolone cheese, Parmesan cheese, and I like Giardiniera. So I cut up 6 cloves of garlic, and I did 6 because I'm crazy. If you're new to my channel, you don't know, but I am obsessed with garlic, so I did 6. If you're a normal person though, I would do like 3 or 4. And I also cut up as fine as I could half of a medium onion, and I did about a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. First, I'm going to throw in a pound of ground pork, and I got a pound of ground beef here. Throw in the onion, the garlic, and I'm gonna have this recipe in the description below. Parmesan. I'm gonna do a cup and a half of breadcrumbs. Actually, just gonna do a cup. You know how I like to eyeball things, so a cup looks like it's good enough. I'm gonna do 1 egg. And then for something that I don't see in a whole lot of recipes, but I like to do, is marinara sauce. So I'm just taking a spoon, and I'm gonna do 2 big kitchen spoons of marinara. I'm gonna do a bunch of grinds of pepper here. Now this is a lot of meat, so you're gonna want a good amount of pepper in here. So this might take you a while and you might break your wrist, but that's okay. And then for salt, I think I'm gonna do about a tablespoon. Oregano, let me try to measure this out. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of oregano, and I'm gonna do a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna go crazy because I feel like a teaspoon isn't enough, because this is, like I said, a lot of meat. So 2 teaspoons of oregano and 2 teaspoons oregano, 1 teaspoon red pepper flake, and I'm gonna do 2.5 teaspoons of the dried basil. So, oh, that's a lot. 1, 2, half. All right, and I'm also probably gonna do a little bit more salt. You might be thinking like, you're crazy. You went from 1 teaspoon of oregano to 2 teaspoons of oregano. But that's how I do things. I don't normally like to measure out ingredients. I like to just like feel it and like look at it and visualize it and just go with like instinct than measuring things out. Because when you're making up a recipe, it's like, I feel like it's easier to measure things out by feel and sight than actual like measuring utensils, if that makes sense. But I know that doesn't help you if you don't know how to make it. So yeah, I'm just telling you, that's how I cook. So I'm just trying to explain like why I do what I do. So I will have the recipe in the description below, and by looking, I needed 2 teaspoons of oregano and not 1. So it should be good. Trust me. Trust me. All right, now here it is. And then we're gonna do the fun part of mixing it together with our hands. And you're just gonna wanna get in there. There's really not a better way to mix this around than with your hands. So don't be scared to get them dirty. If you don't like mixing things up with your hands, lo siento. But that's just how I like to do things. And it actually is like, it's kind of fun to mix it around. If you have kids, this would be a good thing to do with kids. And you just want to incorporate all the ingredients and all the meat and just really get it in there and smush it around. Okay guys, so if you are not sure if they're gonna taste good, you could always take like a tiny little piece and make like a little tiny mini like inch burger patty and fry it up in a pan and taste test it before you make a whole batch to see if you need to add any ingredients to your meat mixture. I actually just did that and it tasted good. It was well seasoned. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll these up into balls and stick them in the oven. Put them in the oven at 400 degrees. I'm gonna take some olive oil and grease the bottom of my pan here. And kind of spread it around so it's evenly coating the pan. Alright, that's good. And now I'm going to, also the oil from spreading it around the pan makes the meatballs not stick to your hand and have like meat hands. So I like to make my balls, the size of like a golf ball. And I'm just gonna plop them right on this pan, like so. And just keep going with this until you got all your balls formed into a nice row of patties. All right, here are all of my meatballs, and we're just gonna pop them in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna check them out and see if they're done. You might have to flip them and turn them and cook them a little bit longer. Okay, so I just got my meatballs out the oven and I'm gonna flip them over. Don't mind the noise, this is real life, you guys. I know everybody on YouTube has like videos where like everything is perfect all the time and everything just looks perfect, seems perfect, but I'm living the life with a tiny baby right now, so like he's gonna make noise in the background. I have a movie on right now entertaining him, the cartoon version of the Addams Family. So if you hear anything, that's what that is. So here are the meatballs. And look at how beautifully brown the other side of them are. So we're gonna flip them all over. And they even stuck after I put olive oil. I think because my pan is just so old. So just flip them all over, and then we're gonna stick them back in the oven for 7 minutes. Now it's the best part, time to eat and assemble. So I got my roll, and I'm gonna cut it. And I like to hollow out the fat-ended side here because it's more room for my meatballs and giardiniera and the sauce and everything. So there it is, hollowed out a little bit. Okay, I got the provolone cheese and I just kind of broke it in half here, and I'm just gonna stick it on the inside here of the sandwich. And then I'm gonna kind of stack my beautiful meatballs in here like so. And the heat from the meatballs is gonna melt that cheese beautifully. There you go. And then I'm gonna put some of this hot marinara sauce that I just warmed up right on top. And I like a saucy sandwich here. I'm also going to take some giardiniera. I'm doing the mild. And I'm going to throw that right on top. And I like to throw a little extra basil on top, and I just tear it up and just throw it right on top here. Okay, and then what I like to do is, I just feel like it makes it so great, is to take the sandwich like so and stick it on a tinfoil lined baking sheet like so, and then take another piece of this provolone, break it in half, and stick it on top. Okay, Wolfies, I'll be right there. Like this. Beautiful. And stick it on the top rack of your broiler for a little bit until it ignites and melts and bubbly. And I like to do a low broil, not a high broil. Look at the melted cheese on here, the deliciousness of it all. So now we're gonna try it. Looks so good. So good. Oh my God, that's good. Okay, Wolfie. I gotta go. Wolfie's is losing his freaking mind. Bye. See you next time. Subscribe.